Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Rocks Entertainment Rant podcast. Today on the show, we'll be discussing for the first time ever the Challenge USA. And I'm joined today with a panel, as I don't know much about the challenge, so I decided I'd get a panel in to talk about it. And first off, we have Diego joining us. Diego, how are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And also joining us today, we have Tommy. Tommy, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks. All right, so today on the show we will be talking about the challenge. We'll start with you, Diego. How are you liking this season so far after watching the first two episodes?
I think so far it's pretty good. Normally what you normally have on the first episode is the elimination. And so we had that cliffhanger at the end of the first episode. I hope that doesn't happen. Continue on as the season goes on, but I think it was a solid start so far.
Yeah, one of the things I actually liked about the Challenge USA, because I actually did watch a couple seasons of the MTV's The Challenge, and I felt like that one was kind of just like a slog where it's like they don't eliminate anyone in like one episode, like 2 or 3 episodes before they finally get to an elimination. So that's one of the things I did like about Challenge USA. Tommy, how's it for you?
So far, I like the challenge regardless of whatever season it is. I always like the new twists and the people that are involved with it. The show can do no wrong for me. um, I like the incorporation of the hopper though. So
It's his new favorite thing.
I know some people are kind of weird about it or think it's like a silly kind of twist to the game this season, but I'm here for it because it kind of like it adds that form of risk to it.
Yeah, I
For
would
sure.
tend to agree with Tommy as well. I know a lot of the fans are kind of saying that it's rigged or whatever, but I think it's fine. I think if you take it for what it is and say it's not rigged and it's all good, then I actually enjoy it a lot. It's almost like the flipping card thing like that you had back a couple seasons back.
Right.
Yeah, I think the Hopper's his new favorite thing. Last time he loved the algorithm
Oh
last
yeah.
season on US. He just like
Yeah.
had this like euphoria for the algorithm, and then now it's this thing. So we're gonna dive into the episode. I
All
have
right.
notes, so we have talking points. Um
Okay.
the first thing I wanted to point out was that Paulie looked ridiculous. Like he looks literally ridiculous. Like you got the earring that like looks like a cross, and he's like looks like he's wearing half a shirt and like a girl's vest.
It
Like
actually might
what
be a
has
girl's
happened to
vest, to be
this
honest
kid?
with you. It might be I don't know how much of Polly you know. He's dating Cara Maria, who is a challenge uh star. You like her or
Okay.
hate her, she is what she is. And
Mm.
her style's kind of eccentric, so I think he adopted a little bit of that. Seems like it at least. Sound about right,
So
Well,
Tommy?
so I noticed he kind of went over the top with like the past so many seasons, people have just been more focused on their attire. So I'm thinking they're starting to like, especially during the reunions, they go all out and like trying to look the best that they can. So now they're trying to bring that into the actual show itself rather than showing out at the reunion only. So I mean, like I can see where he's coming from, but then again, like it was kind of over the top for me. But I mean, that's who he is, I guess, from what I understand.
yeah, and then we get the introduction to the Survivor player Sebastian, and who I always have hated. I can't stand the guy. The guy's annoying. Like, what's he doing? It's like Tasha last season with her on there. Like, why they have to put people I don't like? Like, can we just have a season where there's everyone I like?
Well,
For
you have nobody to
sure.
root against.
Oh yeah, true. True. I can't cheer when they get eliminated.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, like, I want to say within every season that I've ever watched, there's always been at least some people that I don't care for. Like, I've always been a West fan. So anyone against Wes is my enemy or my opponent or whoever that I don't like. So
And then we get to the first question I have for you guys, because there's the Josh hates Paulie, and I put dot 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 what? Like, 'cause this doesn't, like, I must have missed something, because I guess there's like a huge feud with these two. So can we get some context as to why these two hate each other?
That was from War of the Worlds 2, wasn't it? Their feud, is that when it started? Yeah,
yeah,
they had, yeah, that started then. And I carried on to that reunion. I don't remember all the details of how that happened. Do you remember, Tommy, how that all played out?
Not exactly. I'm trying to go back through all the seasons or like do some rewatching of the seasons back in the day or whatever. But yeah, all I know is that they touched on it back in War of the Worlds too. But again, I don't know the details either. So
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, they did get.
just-
Yeah, it got pretty heated. That's all I remember. I mean, if you watch World of the Worlds 2, sorry, tongue twister. It is a pretty chaotic season. It started to become one of my favorite seasons. I know a lot of people were kind of iffy about some of the, they look back some further back to get their favorite, but this one's really growing on me, especially because of all the backstabbing that really happens. It's just kind of a crazy season. Uh, so I know it started there, and it had probably something to do with their alliances and all that stuff and how they all lined up. And anyway, but that's where it started, and it carried over to that reunion. Paulie was being really ridiculous in that reunion. He also dressed way over the top and did this stupid little dance thing.
yeah, for that.
all right.
Yeah.
And then I put so no other amazing racers wanted to play because this year they only have two amazing racers, so they're going to be targeted early. And last year they only had like 3, I think, and like 3 Love Islanders and 3 amazing racers, which I thought was just so do they just reach out and nobody wants to play? Like what's going on with that?
That I don't know anything about. Like, so I only when you brought up Survivor and Sebastian, so I've only ever watched maybe the first season of Survivor and then that season of Survivor that
Right.
Sebastian was on for some reason. But regarding Love Island and The Amazing Race, they're on my list to watch about or stuff like that. But I've never, I don't know what the deal is with not having as many amazing racers coming onto the show and whatnot.
Yeah, I think CBS kind of dropped the ball here. I think they should have evened it out a little bit more. I mean, it could just be that, Big Brother and Survivor have more ratings than The Amazing Race. I'm not really sure. I don't watch any of those shows, so it could
Yeah.
just be that their fan base is bigger than Amazing Races, so that might be why they cast a little.
Yeah, it's weird because Amazing Race has been on just as long as Survivor has. Like it's up to like 34 seasons. So it's been up there just as much as Big Brother and Survivor, which I mean, I know they have a lot of like integration where there's a lot of like I know because I know Survivor, some people like Boston Rob played, like a bunch of other people played. But yeah, it seemed odd to me, especially since when we get to the talking about the first nominations or whatever, you see right away that they're getting targeted immediately.
Mhm.
So it's definitely bizarre. And yeah, so then I put that's not why you won, Chris, because Chris said he won because he gave up immunity. And as a resident Survivor fan, that's not why he won. He won because nobody liked the other two, or they didn't like the other two, to my knowledge. I mean, from what I gathered, it seemed like he spent the most time off things, and they told him exactly what he needed to do to win the game. So right away, he knew immediately what to do, and he did it, kind of thing. So, because I don't know, you guys don't have a lot of Survivor background, it doesn't seem, or
Yeah.
No.
yeah. So that's where, hey, that's how this works. Perfect, because then I have my Survivor knowledge. You guys have the challenge knowledge. I can ask you this without anything because we finally get. So yeah, so then I also put that Cassie should have won her season because I added that in there. But Desi was robbed last season. 1000% Desi was robbed last season. I was excited to actually see Desi back because like, say what you will about Enzo, like the man gave up in that finals. And that, I
Absolutely.
mean, granted, last year that finals was a little bit kind of all over the place in terms
Yeah.
of production. It seemed like everyone quit by the end of it. It was just a nightmare for sure, but it was good to see Desi back.
Right.
Definitely excited to see what she can do now that, we know she can reach final and see if she can actually close it out.
That'd be great if she went on to win. That'd be nice. Be
Yeah,
a great
I would not
great
complain.
comeback story.
Yeah, after last season and how the fans have reacted to the final of last season, I can't imagine them trying to execute it the same way or something similar, like trying to give her, if she makes it to the final, trying to give her a way for her to continue on without having a partner drag her down.
For sure. And then I have no idea who these people are because they show the teams and then, or they show the players all stand there and then they have the the vets come in. I got no idea who these people are. Because as I said, I watched one season of the challenge and I don't even think I finished it. And I don't even remember the name of the season.
I was gonna say.
I'm trying to remember. I know Johnny Bananas was on it, and he was partnered with some guy who was his rival. And a bunch of them were partnered with their rivals.
Rivals. It depends on who his partner was. He's had Frank as a partner. He's had
I'm trying to remember.
Tyler.
It was one of
Tyler,
it was one of the
and then
later
Sarah.
seasons.
It must have been
'Cause it
Rivals 2
was-
would be my guess. The one with Frank.
It was something. I don't know. I can't tell you. The only memory I remember of it was the one guy got kicked off because the one guy threw the one guy's noodles out the window.
Oh, so you're talking about Final Reckoning?
That's
Oh,
it.
I
There
totally
we go.
forgot.
There we
Yeah,
go.
forgot
Yeah,
about-
Oh.
that's the one I've
I
seen.
forgot about that one.
So I think
That's the one I've seen.
Tony was his partner. Tony threw Corey's
Tony.
noodle window.
Yeah.
Is Corey the guy that's on this season too?
Yes.
Yep.
mhm.
Okay, so that's where I recognized.
Well,
we
he's
go.
kind of made his rounds through the MTV reality sphere. He's done like X on the Beach, and then he's on Teen Mom because one of his exes, Chanel, is his baby's mama.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Or-
only
yeah.
seen X on the Beach once when I had COVID last year because I had COVID, so I watched a season of it. I barely remember much about it, but yeah, but like, and that's what I said. I was trying to like pinpoint these people, and like I know who Johnny Bananas is because I think even if you're never seen the challenge before in your life, you still know who Johnny Bananas is because his face is everywhere somewhere.
Right.
And then we get the other ones, Joanne or Johnny or some, I don't know.
Johnny?
Can't. Johnny, that's it. I can't say these people's names. Who I have no idea who she is. We have Tori, who I think she was on that one too, or maybe I don't remember.
She's done like 8 in a row now or something like that, right?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
She's like MTV's like darling for whatever reason.
Because I know
Yeah.
I tried to watch Spies, Lies, and Allies because I saw Michelle was on there, and I was a big fan of hers and her seasons of Survivor, so I was like, okay, I'll watch this just to see, and like I didn't understand. I still don't get it. Like
Yeah.
there's some stuff. MTV's one is I don't. The Challenge USA I think is a little bit easier on me because it's less arguing. I feel. I don't know.
Less arguing.
There was less fighting last season. I feel in Challenge USA 1. I
Yeah.
feel like there wasn't as high drama as like watching a full season of the challenge.
Yeah, I feel like CBS they have a reputation they have to uphold. I think.
Yeah, true.
And I guess for that same, the MTV does too.
Yeah.
So they like the drama
There's-
on MTV.
Their seasons have to be over the top for sure, and I don't get it. But yeah, and then we get the team pickings, and Corey's reaction was just the best. He's just like, "Yes, you picked me. I'm so happy." His
He was the
reaction
first,
was,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
was
was-
Cassie's first pick, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was honestly the best first pick because I don't think if you pick Johnny Bananas, he's just gonna feed into his ego more. And
Absolutely.
pick Wes, I think
Yeah.
he's gonna feed into his ego more, even though I don't know who this Wes guy is.
Yeah.
All I know is he's apparently made his living on the challenge.
He's done quite a bit of seasons.
Yeah.
I think he's like in his 20+ season number now.
his
So do they just
Okay.
cast the same people over and over again, pretty much? Like, is it just like the same combination of people?
Kind of, yeah, to an extent. Like
Mhm.
every season we'll get like our handful of new people, but I wouldn't say it's like the same people every season. They'll try to switch up the vets every now and then.
Mm.
But it's you never get 2 seasons in a row where it's always the same people. Like it's going to be similar, but it's never always the same.
Okay, and then we get Josh, who's just savage because he goes for his second pick and he picks Pauly. And I guess because they're to keep your friends close and your quote unquote enemies closer. But that was just, I think, probably one of the most savage things I've ever seen or I've seen in a while on reality on a team pick.
Yeah, that I don't know if I have much to say about that, but like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
I guess it kind of works out because there's a season of Bloodlines where Cara Maria picked up Johnny for her team,
Hmm.
and I guess did their team dominate that season? I can't exactly.
Uh, I believe that they think their team did pretty well.
Yeah,
Because Abram ended up on that team as well, didn't he? Somehow was
I,
that was he?
yeah,
Yeah. So between Abram and Banana, they always did really well, just figuring out how to do these challenges. It was just, yeah, they did pretty well.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I have
So
no
I
idea
mean,
who these people.
with Paulie Pickett or Josh Pick and Paulie, maybe we'll see something great come out of it or something. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see another fight. Maybe we'll finally
Maybe.
see a fight. I
Yeah.
want to see. I want to see a fight. That's all I want. And then we get then we see the teams, and the teams seem pretty evenly matched across the board. So it seemed like they each had to pick like a certain like even number of challenge vets on each team, which was nice. And they seems like the teams were evenly matched. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you feel like the teams are evenly matched?
So with, I mean, I don't exactly know how the Survivor players play. I mean, I know Michelle and Michaela, but regarding anyone else, especially with them being rookies to the challenge, I'm not too sure what to expect out of them. But knowing the vets, I mean, all six of them have their pros and cons about them too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say so. Like regardless of the vets, yeah, they are equaled out. But the rookies this season, I'll have to see how they perform or how they do before I can like make my decision about that. I guess you could say.
For sure. And then
Yeah.
we get. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say agree with Tommy. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, like I don't watch Survivor or the other shows, so I don't know what the other people necessarily bring yet. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so I would agree with Tommy.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. And then we get to like they're in the all in the house together, and seems like Fessy gets around pretty well because he seemed like everybody on that show is his ex or has hooked up with him or something. I don't know. So what is like so who on this thing did he have is his like ex or whatever? Or, like do we
He had a
know
thing with
or
Tori. He had a thing with
okay?
Tori. There's well, anyway. He had a thing with Amanda on Spies, Lies, and Allies. Amanda was all over him. And I believe after she got eliminated, he started hooking up with Michelle.
Mhm.
Sound about right? And then that's just, I mean, those are the three that are past this season. Even when on
Yeah,
the flagship last year, I think he had like three hookups also or something on one season.
I try not to
Yeah.
like keep track of his track record. I guess I don't know because it really is all over the place. Like, I mean, sure he's a fine looking man or whatever, but like, I don't know,
I don't see it.
his ego just
Yeah.
all out the window for me.
Yeah.
And then we get to the first challenge of the season. And I guess that's why it's called the challenge, because there's challenges. And then we get the vet statues, which did not make any sense to me. They don't look anything like these people. Like they could have made it a little bit like their likeness to some degree. Like, do these statues look like them? Am I going
The West
crazy?
one I think was okay, but the other ones I think were off.
Yeah, because when I didn't even notice until they pointed out, like Johnny
Mhm.
was walking up to the challenge, and they were like, "Oh, that one looks like Wes," and then so I didn't really get a good look at all the other ones, but I guess I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess I think all they just needed was the statue element of it, but did it need their faces on it?
Yeah.
I get we could have skipped that part, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Give
we
them the
could have.
generic statues and we would have, I think fans would have been fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think we could have not been told about the statues and it would have been fine. And then we get the green team's t-shirts aren't green. Like they look more brown. Or am I colorblind?
They look like pukey green.
Like,
Yeah,
Well, at least on my TV, it looked kind of like that, kind of really like almost military green, almost.
navy green, something like
oh,
that.
maybe, yeah, okay.
And I noticed that too, like when the cast photo was leaked or whatever, and
Yeah.
so the red was red, blue was blue, but then people were making it a thing where green is kind of like not as vibrant or whatever, and I'm just like, is this a thing that people are actually discussing now? Like, I didn't know that this was like an important part of the show where green had as the red or the blue teams or whatever. So I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah.
Like the boxes on the screen looks more green, like switching back and forth to who's talking looks more green than
Yeah.
their shirts.
Yeah.
But
I
I mean,
guess
I
if they
guess,
were
yeah,
gonna go
military
green,
green, maybe,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess they should have got more vibrant green or something. I don't know. Make it really distinct.
Yeah. And then we get into the challenge and we see the disaster of the red team and the green team who just decide to ignore all the secret signs that are on the side. Why do they need that? Like, that's the thing I don't get. Like, why couldn't they just carry it up and like up the thing and make it like a carrying challenge instead of like a random like look at the thing?
I,
That
I
to
want to
me
say
just
that
didn't make sense.
that's just an added element of a daily, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
So you have to focus on carrying this big old heavy object, then or also plus looking
Yeah.
or trying for the symbols. It's
And then a puzzle. So
yeah, and so they try not to focus on one aspect or element of doing the daily. So they added some more things in there to make it a little bit trickier for them.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it'd be easier than just a challenge them running up and down. And I think if it was just a challenge them running up the hill with the thing, I think the red team probably would have dominated at that point.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Mhm.
And it was still a close finish. It was a photo finish at the end with between
Yeah.
red and blue. And ultimately the blue team ends up winning the first challenge on the challenge. And then we reveal the twist that I guess have they just never done secret votes in the challenge like ever? Like to where these people think this is a twist? I thought they did that at one point.
Mhm.
Or am
Yeah.
I going crazy?
No,
So
it brought back every once in a while.
yeah, I know in season 20 Cutthroat they did it
Cutthroat.
then.
Hmm.
And I forgot all about double agents, but they did it
Yeah,
then
they did
too.
double digits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this season's like it's playing out really similar to Cutthroat to some degree. A three-team
Mhm.
format, secret voting, mixed teams.
Yeah.
For sure. And then I put here, put up the vets. Like there's 6 vets, there's a bunch of other U people, but to be fair though, like there are other vets integrated into the other side too. And like so I'm confused as to why they think like that why these people aren't considered as like vets as well. Like there's vets here, there's vets on integrated in with the other shows. Like so that's just interesting that they're not like targeting the vets right off the or weren't targeting the vets like right off the bat.
Mhm. So they I want to say they're targeting the main show, the mainstay or the flagship show, because
Yeah.
they have the experience out of all the other ones. Like I'm sure the other vets will get targeted later, but I want to say that they're trying to get to the people that are in the way that know the show, that know the
Mhm.
loops and everything better than the other new people.
That have been on the show for like 15,000 years and made a
Yeah.
living off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know one of the conversations they had in the first episode, I know the Survivor people wanted to keep to band together, including like Fessy, Josh, who've done several seasons of the flagship as well. So I think in that sense, I think they wanted to keep those numbers high and take away pretty much all MTV cast members as the vets.
For sure, yeah. And then and yeah, so they did the I put here Amira needs to chill because after they make the nominations where it's Amira and Lewis, and they right away they targeted Amazing Race guy. Amira's upset with Alyssa because Alyssa didn't fight for her, but it's like, what do you expect her to do? Like, it's a vote. Like they're all
Yeah.
voting for who they want, and if she's outnumbered, she's outnumbered. Like you need to chill. Just get in that thing and win the challenge. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. So Amir was on
Big
the
Brother.
last season of Big Brother, and
Yes.
she was kind of evicted relatively early from her season. So then seeing her also eliminated early from this season, we don't really
Yeah.
keep the tradition going, I guess, kind of like with Ace, like
Yeah.
from
And
all
we,
Yeah,
original.
yeah, Ace.
But
Yeah,
no,
yeah. And we,
one thing I kind of want to bring up was as she was devastated that she got in the first person to go down there. I mean, she already looked defeated before that elimination even happened. Her on her face was just written all over, like she was done almost.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. Like I said, we haven't seen much of, like I said, we haven't seen much of her on like the Big Brother US because she was eliminated third, like she was the third boot in a blindside early. And then she just never, like I said, no one's really heard from her since. So like I was actually kind of shocked to even see her on the cast to begin with.
yeah.
And so I didn't know for sure. But then don't vote for your team because they get in to the secret votes and we get, now I'm gonna butcher this again. It's Jonay,
John A.
John A. Okay, jeez.
John A.
Like
Yeah.
that's how much I don't know about these people is I can't figure out this person's name to save her life. She ends up voting for Michelle based off of intel from Wes.
Mhm.
Like so her and Michelle have obviously never crossed paths in any past challenge, which
No,
is interesting.
John A's recently been brought back into the swing of things. Her last season was X's 2, and then she took like a hiatus break or whatever. From then up until All Stars, she did all 3 All Star seasons, and she did very well in all those.
hmm
So yeah, she's never done like the flagship show since X's 2.
And how far back are we talking here? Like, is it just like 2 years or like we're
So
talking
like
like,
about 6 years, 7 years now.
I want to say that
Uh,
was like 2015, 2016 ish.
oh wow. So yeah, so good 7 years. Sheesh.
yeah. So
Yeah.
she took a long break. Yeah, and then they brought her back for All Stars. Actually, her first season of All Stars, she had just had she had 3 months away from having a kid or something like that. So
Yeah.
and she did very well in that first season and ended up winning the next 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then we get the quote of the episode, which I thought was just hilarious, the most hilarious quote ever. The math isn't mathing because we get 9. There's 9 votes on the red team and 7 votes on the blue team or the green team, and it should be 8 and 8.
Yeah.
Right.
So we get the math isn't mathing, and Michelle's like, "This does not make any sense," which I thought was just the best quote. Honestly, it really was. So yeah, and then we get to the to be continued because that was the Thursday episode
Yeah.
of the
Mhm.
show, and we get a which I was like, "Oh, great! Is this going to be like the actual challenge now, where it's going to be where it's going to be like nobody's going to get eliminated for like 5 episodes, or I'm going to have to wait a week to see somebody get eliminated?" But nope, lucky for me, that's not the case. And then I put here at the top of my thing for episode 2 is the hopper is TJ's new favorite thing. It seems like he has a new favorite thing every like seasons in different seasons, and this is his new favorite thing, the hopper, the random ball. So it's like a lottery ball machine. Is that what it is
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah. Essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
I've
works.
had
Yeah.
anything similar to it, but I know like in Final Reckoning they had the little platforms that lit up. I thought that was pretty neat, and then you got to
Mhm.
see which teams voted for whoever got sent in.
Mm.
Last season was the algorithm. I didn't have too much of an issue with the algorithm, but I
I
know
didn't
some
either.
kind of like
Yeah.
they
And
have
usually,
questions about.
usually when it comes to things like that, I take it with as it is. I don't try to think too much about it. But yeah, the algorithm at times did seem a little rigged.
I mean, it could. Here's the thing. I don't know if it's rigged. I believe that these reality shows don't ever rig things, even though I know some people think they rig everything, and other people think they don't rig anything. I'm one of the people who believes that they have better things to do with their lives than rig reality TV shows.
Right.
I would hope. I would hope, right? But
Yeah.
nevertheless, I think, granted, I thought the finale was a little bit rigged in that when Angela slept and they told her like she's eliminated. I thought that was kind of bogus because like it was like she still did some of the digging. Like she did dig some of it. She didn't dig it all, but she dug some.
Yeah.
But I digress. Like
Yes.
so, I think the algorithm is definitely was cool, and I think this Hopper thing is just his new toy that he gets. He's like, "Ooh, I get a toy."
Yeah.
And then we get to Michelle and Amanda have beef. So they have beef, I guess.
All
And I'm
because of-
curious, what it was it
Was
all
it big-
over
is it-
Fessy?
Is that what
As
it
far-
was? All fest? Yeah, right.
Pretty
think
much
it
was
is,
it
I
just all
mean-
Fessy?
like the Spies, Lies, and Allies season, I believe it was. Yeah, Amanda hooked
Yeah.
up with him first, and then Michelle came up with him after she was eliminated or something. I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah. So he had a thing with both of them on that same season. I don't think Fessy's worth fighting for. I don't know, but
Yeah,
But look, Amanda's a personality. She knows why she's there. It's not to win the money. She would like to, of course,
For real,
but she is there to bring the drama. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Okay. So that was something, like I said, that's something I don't really like know a lot about, and it was interesting to see for sure. And then we get the poor Michelle, because poor Michelle got. It was basically as soon as he announced that it was a girl going in instead of a guy, you knew right away it was going to be Michelle, because there was 3 out of 4 chance.
Mhm.
3 out of 4 chance that it was her. It was either going to be Desi or her, and it would end up being her. But then we get the challenge, and the challenge actually looked pretty dope. Is this challenge something that's been seen on the other, like the MTV, the challenge, or is this like a new thing that they came up with?
Oh shoot, I'm having a hard time. Like, what was the challenge again? I can't
It's,
remember.
It was
There was a pole
the-
they had to like swing across each other.
no,
Okay.
it was actually it was the elimination challenge where they had to
Oh, the
they
elimination.
got dunked into the water and they had to push the balls out.
Elimination. Got it.
Yeah.
That kind of reminded me a little bit that one that Brad and I'm blanking on his name right now. They did on, was it Final Reckoning? One of those Total Madness. I can't remember. They got in the water and they're splashing. They had to get the water out.
Oh wait. That was there was one. Brad and Victor.
Yeah, Victor. That's who it is. Yeah,
That-
kind of reminded me a little bit of that.
Vendetta. Yeah.
But yeah, usually what they'll do, when it comes to eliminations, there's about a handful or so that they'll recycle. Hall
Yeah.
brawl, balls in, some other
Oh, right.
not so fast. But when it comes to other ones, they kind of do like, they'll kind of come up with some random stuff. Like this is pretty random. I don't think we've seen anything like quite like this one.
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
say they recycled quite a few of the popular ones, but they also every time that they reused it in that season, they added like a new twist to it too.
Mhm.
So even if it does look similar, it'll be something somewhat different.
Okay, I mean that was just a question I had because, like I said, I saw the Hall Brawl last year, so I know, like, because I know Enzo did that against one of the Amazing Race guys and broke his shoulder or something.
Yeah.
Broke
Yeah.
the Amazing Race guy's shoulder, not his
Mhm.
own shoulder.
Yeah.
And basically, so I was like, all right, but I just like I'm curious, right? Because like I said, I don't know much about the challenge, so I'm curious what they've done them before or not. And then we get Michelle winning and Amira getting eliminated, and it was actually pretty close. I think it was like a handful off
18,
or
I think
whatever.
it was. Yeah, I think it
18,
was like
yeah.
18
So
or
it
something
was,
like that. 17, something like that.
Yeah.
so it was definitely poor Amira, but honestly, I wasn't that invested in Amira right from the start. So, and like you guys said, I think she came into it looking a little bit defeated for sure.
Mhm.
Going
I was
into
just-
it, so
Kind of excited to see what she could bring since like we didn't see a lot of her on Big Brother. I wanted to see if she could last a little bit longer in the challenge and maybe see what she does have to offer.
Mhm.
But maybe next season.
yeah, I don't know if she's ever gonna do it again, but who knows, right?
Yeah, she gets eliminated early.
Yeah, if she keeps getting eliminated early, like what's the point? What's the point of going if you're just gonna get eliminated early? Just hang on Croatia for It's Croatia that they're in, I
Yeah,
believe.
then Croatia.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so they're just hanging out in Croatia for like a few months or whatever, or forever long. I don't know.
Yeah. They usually film like flagship. I think is filmed for like 3 months. I think this is a shorter one, so probably like maybe one or like 2 months, maybe
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah, because I think this one actually is shorter, just because like I said, they eliminate everyone. They eliminate one person an episode, so I would assume it's shorter than the other
Mhm.
one, which where they can go like I said, 7 or 8 episodes without an elimination. Then poof, like one person's eliminated. Or they
Yeah.
eliminate someone for throwing someone's chicken out the window or noodles or something. Again. And then we get some drama finally. For the first time ever on this show, I'm gonna assume we get some drama with Amanda and Michelle just going at it. And I put here as a side note that Dusty is me. Like Dusty is my react. Like Dusty's acting how I would react in that moment. Because when I watched the challenge for the first time, and I watched that, I believe it was called Final Reckoning. I believe that's what it was called.
Mhm.
For the first time, I was like, I just want to be on this show just so I could have some popcorn and just sit and watch these people like fight over nothing. And he's reacting the way I would have reacted in that moment, which was just hilarious. And what were your guys' thoughts on Michelle and Amanda's fighting?
Hmm.
It was because they weren't making any progress with it whatsoever. They were just arguing. Like they weren't talking about anything of the problem. They were
Yeah,
just
yelling at
working
each other.
low blowing each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that was the case for sure. And then we get the next challenge. We're into the second team challenge, and I don't do heights. Like in this challenge is like I was like, okay, I don't do heights. Why are they putting them on heights? Like they're gonna fall and die. They're gonna all fall and kill themselves. So you guys had said this challenge was a challenge staple, or this one is a challenge they use.
So
There's been iterations of something like this before. I can't remember what
yeah.
season it was. There's one that was similar like this. We had across the way, but they're like big like plastic steaks, like meat
Mm.
steaks. Um,
So I know that they did it in Fresh Meat too with they had like little sticks like a
oh yeah, they had like this. It was like branches almost, right? Is that what?
yeah, they looked like branches hanging down and they had to cross over something, but they didn't do it all in groups or heats or whatever. They did it like pair by pair.
Mhm.
And then that season with the stakes hanging up, I remember Cara Maria, she she had said like the famous line saying the stakes are high or something like that.
Or uh,
Yeah, I can't remember what season that was. I want to say maybe Free Agents, but I can't remember exactly.
maybe you might be right because I feel like if Preston was on this on that season as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, that could be it. I don't call.
but yeah. So like something like this has been done before, but just not in
Yep.
groups. And
And it was usually done just one team at a time. This one they put all teams up there, and I'm assuming they were hoping for some fighting up in there, but that never really pan out. I
I
think people
mean,
just start falling off.
I think they would be a little bit more distracted, worried about falling off than be like immediately start like fighting with each other and seeing somebody
Oh
get thrown off or pushed off or whatever.
yeah,
Whatever. It did seem like you said, it did seem like it was a challenge staple for sure, based off the fact that Johnny Bananas and like Wes and a bunch of them were able to like kind of coach their teams across
mhm.
and it seemed like Johnny Bananas kept his team pretty much in there. For sure. And I added this note in there because, and this note was kind of sarcasm because she had mentioned it like 4 other times in the episode, but I put, wait, she's a mom? Because Amanda kept mentioning she's a mom.
hmm
And it's like, okay, so you're leaving your 3-year-old kid? Like, alrighty.
So they do this every season. Any challenger who has a kid, such as like Corey,
or
Amanda, Kyle now. Like
CT.
we haven't seen Kyle since he had a kid.
hmm
But I'm sure he is brought back. It's going to be something that like, oh, I'm doing this for my kids.
Yeah, Tony.
Tony, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it's always a big deal when like a parent does the challenge. They always talk
Yeah.
about how they're doing this for the kids and stuff. So
wouldn't it be better just to, not leave your kid? I would assume. I mean, I don't
I
have
mean,
kids.
that's
I have a
a lot of
nephew,
money
but
Yeah,
rather than so like with a job, sure you'll accumulate that much money over time, but like to go away for a few weeks and accumulate that much money,
yeah, true.
I, I can see why they do it, but I mean, also if the other parent or if they got a situation going on back home where like John A's mom or mother-in-law, she agreed like, hey, we'll watch the kids while you're off doing this show or something like that. So
Mhm.
if they got a situation going on at home, like
Yeah.
I love seeing people return. I mean, Amanda, I could probably do away with her, but no.
She's not the best competitor, but I will defend Amanda to some degree because, after Double Agents was a really boring season. I don't think too many people are going to argue with that. When she came up to Spy Lies and Allies, she definitely brought something to the show that it needed again, that had
Yeah,
been missing for at least a couple seasons up until that point. So, yeah, I'll defend her to some degree because I know what she's going to bring to the table, and it's a lot of fun drama if you really like that kind of stuff. If you just want a straightforward show, then Amanda's probably not your flavor.
yeah.
I
Like
I
when
like her. Sorry, go ahead.
like when she turned from for Double Agents, like I wasn't a bit too big of a fan of Teresa like in her earlier seasons, but then when she came back for Double Agents, I don't know, there's
Oh,
something in. Oh my God, Teresa's back! What?
yeah.
Here
She
for
played
it,
a really messy game that
yeah,
season. Oh man, it was so messy.
right.
And I will say, based off of my I guess this is, I think, my first taste with Amanda. I don't know. Maybe she was in Final Reckoning. I don't know. To my knowledge,
Was
Oh
she
yeah,
the
yeah,
one
from
that
what I
she
remember.
was partnered with Zach, right? Was that the one she was partnered with Zach?
yep,
Oh, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, wait, because they won the challenge, and then
yep,
they couldn't decide on who
Yeah.
to put in,
Yeah.
and so they had to go in, and she was wearing her street clothes. Yeah, okay, now
Yeah.
I remember.
yep.
hmm
Okay, now I'm caught up. Now I remember who she is. Yeah, I remember actually liking her, except for that, and then that was just
Yeah,
hilarious. Like that was
Yeah.
arguably the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Was that
right.
moment right there. Okay,
Iconic.
so now I'm
Yeah.
caught up. Okay. But from what I've seen, from what I've seen on her this season, I actually like her. Like seems like she's fun. Fun. I also still like Michelle, and I'm still a big fan of Michelle. So let's not get it twisted. I'm not now Team Amanda over Team Michelle. I'm team both of them. Let's be real on that. And then we get the green team winning the challenge, and green team absolutely just destroyed that challenge. Like they dominated. They think they got like 6 of their 7 people over, and Desi went
Yeah.
twice and got over both times, which
Right.
was just impressive. Which is another reason why I said I'm happy to see Desi back. She's a beast
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, we have the green team killing it. Green team wins. And then we get them having their nominations. And their nominations, I was expecting their nominations to go the way the blue team's nominations went, where Wes and Amanda would just steamroll them into picking who they wanted. But
hmm
the night before, they created a plan to
Mhm.
targeting the vets.
Yep.
And they basically steamroll over the vets in this meeting, which I put here. That's how the blue team should have done it. The blue team should have realized that they need to steamroll these veterans and not. But I guess there's more. I guess because Fessy's on that team too, right? So I don't know. What are
Yeah.
your guys' thoughts
Yeah.
on their nominations?
I personally like when the vets get targeted. The last few seasons they had the Vacation Alliance that just steamrolled all through the rookies, and then it was just all friendly people. They're all friends. And in this instance, I like the fact that they're outnumbered. If any of them make it to the end, it does show how good they do play this game.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know how many are going to survive. I mean, it's a pretty small number in 6, so 5 now. But yeah, so I kind of enjoy these kinds of things that when the vets get targeted, it really shows how good they can be instead of just relying on their friends.
Yeah. Yeah, and no, I think Wes said it early on in the episode too, where it'll be like any other season where all the rookies will make the dumb mistake of not voting for the vets, and they'll all like
Mhm.
implode on each other.
Mhm.
So I guess these rookies or these newer people, they've taken that into consideration, and now they're using it this season where they are actually targeting the vets now. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was good to definitely see them actually like not like just up and side. Okay, no, we're targeting like different like it was good to see not see Dusty get targeted, like right like Amazing Race person like go up
Yeah.
again or something like that. It was nice, and I put here that Wes and Johnny Bananas are weird. Like they seem like a weird seems like this is a weird combination. Like so I guess they also have history together and were enemies and are now like frenemies or friends or whatever. Is there like a huge history with these two that we don't know
Yeah.
about or sorry, that I don't know about, not we, because I'm the guy
Yeah.
who doesn't know anything about this?
Yeah, I think they debuted 2 seasons apart. Bananas was the duel. No, not the duel. Was
mhm.
it the duel? And
Yep.
then West was the season right prior to that, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly. Yeah, Fresh Meat. That's right. So yeah, so they've been on the show forever, both of them,
yeah,
and they just have had a lot of issues with each other. It kind of really started with Wes and one of Johnny's friends, Kenny, and uh, and that's how they kind of really started beefing after all that. Anyway, they've had a long history.
yeah,
To put it
yeah.
short.
So
Seems like
like
it.
throughout years of the show, if they were on the season together, it was either Team West or Team Bananas.
Mhm.
Like you're either on this alliance or that alliance, and depending on who you favored more, who looked after you best, that's whose uh side you were on.
That's crazy that the show's been on that long and they've had the
Yeah.
same people over where these guys have all this history. And I guess I'm the lucky one that I've never actually seen a full season of this of this show. And then we get to the second elimination. We are finally at the second elimination, which is basically leads to a vet versus vet because Jonay gets hurt. Did I say that right, Jonay? Johnny, you're
Judge,
close. Okay,
you're
close.
on it.
It's enough. She's not around much longer anyway, so
Yeah.
Right.
and then we get to a challenge that appeared very physical, and I would have loved to have seen Johnny Bananas versus somebody in that one, like a Corey. I think that would have been an interesting combination.
Yeah.
But we get the vet versus vet, we get Tori versus Jonay, and
Yeah.
that's also seemed like it was a bloodbath of a battle, to
Mhm.
say the least. It was challenge was so physical, but I'll say this, Tori's a beast. That she's
Physically
crazy.
speaking, she's when it comes to physical things, you want her on your team.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping for more of a puzzle or a combo
Mhm.
puzzle sort of deal because that would even the playing field for John A, where that's more of her strength. I didn't realize how tall John A was compared to, or every time I remember seeing John A, she looked smaller in stature, but next to Tori, they were pretty even in height. But Tori is
Mhm.
just a physical person. She likes that kind of stuff. John A's not. She has her moments. But yeah, she was definitely very outmatched in this one.
Yeah, that's an aspect I didn't even pay attention to. Like I didn't realize the height difference or what you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But I listened to the official challenge podcast earlier today, and John A, like, so when they knew that they were going to be going up against each other, Tori was like, okay, so how are we going to do this? Because like Tori didn't want to like go all in and like be as aggressive as she was, but Johnny's like, no, don't give me an easy hand, or like don't make this
Mm-hmm.
easy. You don't have to, like,
Yeah,
make it challenging for me. So John A gave her the okay to like, if you need to beat me up,
go
beat
full
me up.
out. Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, I guess it speaks to the competitiveness of Johnny as well.
Mhm.
Some people already taken that deal, like take it easy on me or something like that. But no, that's good. That's good to hear that.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the women got a little bit shortchanged early because it was a woman going in for the
Mm-hmm.
first elimination, and both eliminations this episode were two women, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I mean, if they eliminate too many women, then all the women would eventually be safe for the finale because they have to have do they have to have a certain number of men and women in the finale, to my knowledge, or
I would think so because every time when TJ talks about there's gonna be one man, one woman winner. So I'm assuming at some point they're just gonna have if chances are that a lot of women get eliminated, I'm pretty sure they're just gonna maybe do without the hopper. Maybe they just say this is a men's elimination, only men are in it, something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like with the say if a handful of women get eliminated early, you're bound to have a men's elimination. I want to say it's all up to chance too. Like you obviously do have to have a certain number of men and women in the final though too to make it like a one woman one man thing type of thing.
Yeah.
And then I added shut up Seb, because Sebastian's basically yapping the whole time, because him and I forgot to mention it earlier that I guess him and Tori started like bonding or connecting, and this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I'm sorry, like
I have
Tori has Tori has a notorious history with people on the show, and actually she started off from Are You the One, so she has history with a lot of guys.
Yeah. So I mean, like even in the interview, she said, what was it? She hasn't had a really good past history with the men that she's dated from the show, so she has her like guard up or whatever with him. But I'm sure like we'll see it eventually throughout the season. But I have to ask though, why don't you like Sebastian? Didn't he go by Seabass in Survivor?
That was one of the reasons why I didn't like him. Was
Because
he went by Seabass, but also I remember him just being dumb, like, and just ridiculously dumb. And then I think he did something. I don't remember why I don't like some of these people. Okay, like I have so much like there's so many people I like and so many people I don't like, and there's reasonings for why I don't like these people, why I like these people, and I don't remember half of them. Like I just don't like them. Like it just seemed like the weird. And he had a showmance in Survivor as well with one of the girls on the Survivor season on his season. Her name was, and I can't remember it. I can't remember the name of the girl. So that should tell you right away. And this was another girl who went far. They weren't on the same tribe to start, but then they ended up like swapping to the same tribe or something. And it was just, but yeah, it was weird. I don't fully remember why I don't like Sebastian. I don't. I wish I could tell you why, honestly. I wish I could.
The only thing I don't like about him is his haircut at the moment.
I didn't like his haircut then either. Like, his haircut looked terrible before. Like, and he can't seem to get a good haircut. And like, I guess these people can't afford hairdressers or good hairdressers. But we had Tori sending the message to the other people, because if you put her in elimination, she is likely going to beat you or allegedly beat you. I mean, I'd like to think she could get beaten at a challenge. I don't know necessarily, but do we think she's going to dominate?
Again, her strengths are physical. Like literally, she's a strong person. When it comes to her weaknesses, it's really been, the math, the puzzle, anything like Rainy, she tends to struggle with. So if, in this instance, she got lucky with a good elimination that favored her. If it was a puzzle or something, Johnny would have had the advantage in that one. So she can definitely be beaten. And then she ran into some bad luck when she went against Anissa on that they had to pull this big thing with balls and they had to throw it and break some walls. Was it double agents, if I remember correctly? So she can be beaten. I mean, she's she has weakness to her game for sure.
I was gonna say I couldn't even remember. Has Tori been eliminated before? But then you brought up the one with Anissa. There's that one. I don't think she's ever been like eliminated before, has she?
Let me think.
Oh, Final Reckoning she was with Derek.
No, she came as a mercenary in that one, didn't she? Oh no, you're right. Derek, I was thinking Derek K, but yeah, Derek, her ex.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, she has a long hookup history.
Shows how much I remember about Final Reckoning. I don't even remember seeing her in that.
I think she was early boot that season.
Yeah, and that was mostly on her part. Derek H was awful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause I
Yeah.
don't think I got through all of final. Like I'm pretty sure I didn't get through all of Final Reckoning because I think I got to like I think like it was like near the finale, and then I stopped watching because I was getting bored, and then they took it off. They took it off Crave, which was where I was getting
Oh yeah.
because the Crave puts only like a couple seasons of the challenge on there,
Mhm.
and it was off, and I was like, okay, so I guess I'm never finishing this. And I had to finally like I think I had to Google who won, and I don't even remember who won to be honest with you. Like it's or no, I think it was one of the mercenaries that won.
Ashley and Tunner.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I think, and I
Yeah,
think they said like one of them like kept the money for herself or whatever,
yeah.
and cut him or something. I don't remember. Again, no
Yeah.
clue. That was another reason why I wasn't liking the other one was because they kept adding people in as it went, and I
Yeah.
thought like, what are
The
you doing?
Redemption House. Yeah, the Redemption House. I think that's one instance where the Redemption House wasn't used well.
Yeah, they said there was a redemption house, and then there was also mercenaries on top of this, and it was like,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
like I don't.
That format of that season was a little wonky for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's why I just never really get into it for sure.
And
And
I
then
would say that's kind of like a skeptical season to start on too. Like if
Mhm.
that's your beginner show of watching the challenge, I would probably I don't I started like when I started doing my rewatching, I started on X's 2.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know, but that's just where I wanted to start at. But you might want to like if you want to get a better understanding of the show, probably start earlier than that. But
Yeah. Yeah. Paramount Plus goes to season 10, right? That's the first season that's available there. I mean, that's a pretty solid way. If you want to start, that's not a bad start right there. Usually
that's
some of those earlier seasons, huh?
that's where I originally started at was
Oh,
Inferno
okay.
2.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see a lot of how the show developed in there. And then there is a group on Facebook that has all seasons that you can watch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
oh, I'll
yeah.
have to get
So
that from you later for sure.
yeah, no, yeah, no problem.
It's because I think the Paramount Plus for me doesn't work because it's the Canadian one and not the American one. Because I know the
Oh, got it.
Canadian one is different than the American one, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have like Big Brother or it doesn't have like all the seasons of Survivor. It only has up to like season 30 of Survivor,
Okay.
Oh,
and then it has like only like I think a few like these quote unquote challenge all stars, and then
Mm-hmm.
I guess the global one that
Global one.
World
they did that
Championship.
I don't
Yeah.
World Championship that I don't get, but I'm never gonna touch it because it wouldn't make any sense to me, and I don't know how that would have went. I might actually eventually check it out because I know the winners from last season were they on it or did they just get cut or did they just not go or do we know if the winners
Uh,
from season 1 were actually on it or
Are we talking about Jordan?
no,
talking about the World Championship if the winners of the US one last year
no.
were on it.
Oh,
Oh, Sarah Lucina did,
yeah,
Okay,
and
then Danny probably was there too
and
then.
Danny. Yeah, and Danny. Yeah,
Yeah.
they both were on it. Yeah.
Okay, wasn't sure. And then we get the basic preview for the entire season, and it looks like the season's going to get a little bit ugly, which is good. I mean, it's going to get a little more drama than last season because, like I said,
Mhm.
last season seemed like a little more kumbaya than you would
yeah,
have expected.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was a little more tame than the normal challenge. The flagship definitely can get messy at points. Yeah, Challenge USA 1 definitely was a little bit more tame.
yeah. And as far as I saw, Fessy and Josh get into it again.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not sure if Paulie like falls into that argument, but all
I
I know is that
Probably.
I would assume
Fessy,
he would. He likes to mix it up.
yeah. As far as I know, I only saw Fessy and Josh being like the main focus
Yeah,
of that.
round 2.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I'm going to be excited to see, like I said, I guess me starting on with Challenge USA season 1 was probably a good way to kind of get into it because it was kumbaya than
Mhm.
all this fighting because like I said I never understood half the fighting that was going on when I watched Final Reckoning. I was like, wait, these people are arguing, why are they arguing? Like, what is happening? Like, they're arguing for no reason. Like, and that's what it seemed, right? Like, it seemed like they were in those, like, these seasons, like, half the time they're arguing, like, Michelle and Amanda's argument earlier was just going around in circles. Like, that's what it seems like half the time, right? Like, am I going crazy here?
There's no mediator there or mediation, or I don't know what you want to call it. Like they're not talking about the main subject at hand. Like I said earlier, they're just throwing low blows at each other just to get each other going. It seems like.
Yeah.
All right, and so that was the episodes. So we now get to final thoughts. Are there any final thoughts on what you guys thought? Do you think somebody else should have been eliminated? Like, what are some thoughts? Any final thoughts?
I think it's been pretty solid. You know, I'm going to consider 1 and 2 as one episode. You know, I know just because of how it aired. You know, they could have just aired it one night, but they didn't.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid start so far. Can't wait to see what the cast members I don't know, like the Big Brothers and the all them, can bring to the table. I think I would like to see a Desi Tori physical match. That'd be pretty awesome.
Right.
That would be good.
Yeah. I do like the 2 episodes a week thing, because I that whole time that we went without a challenge, I was going through withdrawals, which is why I was doing the rewatching.
Yeah.
But no, I'm definitely here for the 2 episodes a week thing. I know it's only going to happen for like the first 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, because I think football is going to eventually come back and interrupt it. I
Take
know
the Sunday spot or something, or the Sunday afternoon, whatever.
And I know because the football tends to always run out, because Big Brother's always on Sundays, and then the football runs over it. And this week actually it was the golf that ran over. Ran over it because I recorded on the American channel, the early channels, and the golf ran over.
Oh.
And so it was pushed back, and I guess it also affects global as well. And so and CTV to some degree. So I ended up having to record them on the later days. For sure. And so that's why, like I said, I think it's just going to be probably just for first few weeks for sure. I can't see it being a regular thing.
Yeah.
But it's different than the other one because they eliminate someone each episode. So we at least know we're going to get an elimination. And to answer your point on why it wasn't 2 hours on Thursday was actually because of football. There was a preseason football game on that pushed the New York one back all the way to 11 o'clock my time. And so it was like the late, it was 11 o'clock late. So it was like 1 a.m. there. And so they didn't get to watch it till like later, or had to watch it on global, on like the early channels. So they didn't want to show it on the Canadian channels for 2 hours.
Gotcha.
Which is probably why.
Yeah.
That's just my theory.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And
one last thing. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, that at the elimination, so there's the stage, you see the people on the stage. But if you to our right, which would be their left, you'll see like the letters CAL. And I'm trying to think of like where was there supposed to be an H in there somewhere? Like, point it out next time, or like keep an eye on it next time, because was that supposed to spell out or something? Because I only see CAL.
Interesting.
I try to keep.
I didn't notice that.
I don't think I noticed that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I wasn't paying that much attention to, was the background of what's going on.
Like, I also listen to like a bunch of other challenge podcasts too, and I know some other podcast hosts, they'll like be very in tune with the background of it. So I started to keep an eye on stuff in the background too. So that was just something I noticed.
All right, and
have to do a rewatch.
We'll absolutely have to. Yeah, I guess I'll have to check on that for sure. So that is our podcast for today. Diego, Tommy, thank you guys so much for filling me in on some of this challenge stuff that I don't necessarily know. I truly appreciate it. And like I said, I think the panel thing is was a great way of doing it for sure, because like I said, I don't know half this stuff. Like I didn't know who these people were when they walked in, and now I kind of have a basic understanding of them for sure. And I'll definitely eventually maybe check out some past challenges. So I want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast today. I will catch you guys on the flip side later. And